Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Opara and I'm doing this video for Corporate Minority to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a social work professor. So the number one misconception of social work professors, and I think professors in general, is that all we do is teach. But that's not really true, right? So teaching is an important role of being a professor, but a big part of our job is conducting research. Conducting research is huge. And what that looks like for us is, for me, for example, I run a research lab, a brand new lab that's looking at substance use and sexual health outcomes amongst adolescents of color. So how that looks like is that I hire research staff, I hire postdocs, I hire students to be able to go into the field, collect data, conduct literature reviews on up-to-date studies that are looking at the specific outcomes that we care about, design studies, design interventions based off of the data that we're collecting, analyze data, do a lot of writing so that we can be able to show the scientific community that our project or our study or our intervention is actually showing either significant outcomes or not. We present a lot at conferences. We submit a lot of our papers for peer-reviewed publications to be published in top-tier journals. So this is a lot of work, and then also looking to continuously get our work funded. So applying for federal funding, like through NIH or SAMHSA or through big foundations like the Bill Gates Foundation and other places to continue to fund our work so that we can improve the field of social work in general. And this is also important as a professor, because as a professor who's also conducting research, you're able to bestow the most up-to-date knowledge to your students, to be able to show your students directly how research impacts and can improve the outcomes of the population that you're working with as a practitioner. So this is a huge part of our job that I don't think is discussed a lot. So I want to clear that up for people that aren't really sure what social work professors do. For me, I teach also in the Masters of Social Work program, so I teach only graduate students. And my favorite part of being a professor is working with really ambitious students. I love seeing students grow. I love being able to watch them from the first day of the semester to the end, to see the type of questions they're asking, to see how their writing has improved, to see how they've actually are contributing to becoming such a great dynamic and just a an ambitious advocate for, the most marginalized and vulnerable, and being a great social work scholar. Like, I love seeing that and I love watching that grow. Another thing about being a social professor is that if you're interested in becoming a professor, the steps you would take are, first you would get a master's degree in social work, and then also get a PhD in social work or a PhD in a related field. Most universities don't necessarily need a PhD in social work. It could be a PhD in a related field, but most require that. So for me, for example, I have a PhD in family science and human development. I have a master's in social work, and I also have a master's in public health, and I have work experience working as a social worker. That's another thing that most universities look for, is, do you have work experience? I mean, you can have all these degrees, but do you know what it is or what it takes to actually be a social work practitioner? Because you're going to need to be able to use that experience to relate to your students if you're in a position of teaching, to show your students what it's like to be in the field and how to actually, use all your expertise to be able to improve the health outcomes or the mental health outcomes of the population that you're working for. Lastly, what our hours look like. Our hours as professors are all over the place. We don't work regular hours. A majority of us are working around the clock because we're conducting our own research agenda. A lot of people are constantly, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, I am constantly writing papers, I'm constantly working on multiple projects with different collaborators, all over the nation, working with students, answering emails, on top of updating my syllabus, grading papers, grading assignments. So we don't have a set schedule, and a lot of us are working ridiculously long hours. But I know for me, I love my job. I love what I do. It doesn't feel like work. It feels more like what I was born to do, what I was meant to do. And I think a lot of social work professors who are in this field would agree. So we don't have regular hours. However, our hours are flexible. We do set our own schedules, which is a great thing as well to keep in mind. So we set our own schedules so that we can work during the times that are just suitable for us and just make sense for us. So that's the beauty of, of the profession. Anyway, I hope that helps, and I hope that clarifies for some people what social work professors do. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer it. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day. Make sure you subscribe to Corporate Minority if you haven't, and make sure to follow the Instagram page. Have a great day.